We are live now.
A very warm evening to everyone present. I am Nidhi Toshniwal, Treasurer of the CICASA Committee, ICI Jodhpur, extend a hearty welcome to all of you on the fourth and the final day of this webinar, GST Drill, Let's Make GST Easy. We have the gracious presence of our guest of honor, CM Mr. Kirti Joshi, our speaker today, CM Mr. Ankit Somani, CICASA Nanded Branch Chairman, CM Mr. Jay Bharadia, Jodhpur Branch Chairman, CM Mr. Dhaval Kothari, and Jodhpur CICASA Chairman, CM Mr. Hemant Lohiya. Through the past 3 days, we have witnessed a journey incredibly knowledgeable, cognitive, and comprehensive to help us have a good grip and command over a subject, which is not just a subject, but an emotion to the entire nation, goods and services tax, to which any common man would easily relate to, irrespective of who they are. And we could not have done this without the insightful and valuable learnings bestowed upon us by some of the geniuses from the world of GST, and we're extremely thankful to them. So, taking our concluding day forward, I would like to request CICASA Nanded Branch Chairman, CM Mr. Jay Bharadia, to share a few words with us. Over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. शायद वो कोई नेटवर्क इश्यू होगा.
Shall we continue, sir? Because I don't think so.
Yes, I think there may be a network issue, so we can proceed further.
Okay. Proceeding further, I would like to ask Khushi Bajaj to introduce our guest of honor.
Thank you, Nidhi. Good evening, everyone. I, Khushi Bajaj, take this opportunity to introduce you all with our today's guest of honor, CA Kirti Joshi sir. He is a regional council member of ICI. He has served as chairman of Indore branch of ICI in the year 2021-2022. He has also served as CICASA chairman, treasurer, and vice chairman of Indore branch of ICI. He has addressed more than 350 seminars on GST and direct tax in various departments and institutions. He is a regular columnist in Dainik Bhaskar newspaper, and his articles have been published in various newspapers, magazines, and journals. He is nominated member of study group of DTC on analyzing the direct tax implications of new company law. Patrika newspaper nominated and awarded him most influential personality of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, having age less than 40 years. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the entire branch.
Thank you, Khushi. Thank you very much.
Now, I would request you to share with us some words of wisdom.
Respected Dhaval ji, Chairman of Jodhpur Bharat, respected Hemant ji, CICASA Chairman, respected Ankit Somani ji, my I cannot say co-speaker, good friend of mine and regional council member. और क्यों अंकित जी के लिए बोल रहा हूँ, बिकॉज हमने बहुत सी बार ऐसा हुआ है कि डायस साथ में शेयर किया है तो कोई स्पीकर बोलने की आदत सी हो गई है. करेक्ट अंकित भाई?
नहीं सर, आपका स्टेज है प्लीज.
और
we would all be blessed, all the members also.
इन लास्ट 5 years में अगर कोई एक चीज रही जीएसटी में, तो वो सिर्फ एक चीज रही है कि हम जब भी स्लाइड बनाते थे तो एक स्लाइड हमारी कॉमन रहती थी, रिसेंट चेंजेस और अमेंडमेंट्स इन जीएसटी लॉ. बाकी के सारे पीछे के जो भी पेजेस है वो हर बार चेंज होते थे. सो आपका जो आज का टॉपिक है वो टॉपिक वही है कि रिसेंट चेंजेस अंडर जीएसटी लॉ. जीएसटी जब स्टार्ट हुआ तो फंजिबिलिटी ऑफ क्रेडिट और इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट को लेकर बहुत बात की गई थी. सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 2 से स्टार्ट किया. सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 2 में इनिशियली 4 कंडीशन से स्टार्ट हुआ कि यू मस्ट हैव अ वैलिड इनवॉइस, you must receive goods and services, the party must pay the taxes, supplier must pay the taxes, and you must claim in the return, you must file the return. So ये 4 कंडीशन के साथ हम लोग स्टार्ट हुए थे और ये जर्नी धीरे 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 बढ़ती गई और टाइम बिंग थोड़ी थोड़ी उसमें कुछ ना कुछ इफ बट्स आते गए. और जीएसटी को जब देखा तो हमारे पास बहुत सारी ऐसी प्रॉब्लम्स आने लगी इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट को लेकर कि यू आर नॉट एलिजिबल, यू हैव टू रिवर्स the block credit. So there are multiple words they have used. और मेरे ख्याल से आज का ये जो टॉपिक रहेगा इसमें हम इन्हीं सब चीजों को कुछ और देखेंगे. अंकित सर इनलाइट करेंगे. तो विदाउट टेकिंग मच टाइम, आई थैंक्स टू ऑल द ब्रांचेस फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी एंड प्रोवाइडिंग मी दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving forward, it is my extreme honor to introduce such a dignitary as a speaker today, CA Mr. Ankit Somani. Honestly speaking, sir, when I was going through your profile, I was absolutely stunned by all your achievements. Currently, he's the Regional Council member of ICI and Chairman of Committee on Auditing and Accounting Standards and Committee for Members in Industry and Business. He was appointed as a special invitee of GST and Indirect Tax Committee of ICI at Pan-India level. Speaking of his qualificational marvels, he's an All-India rank holder 32 in CA Foundation, 43 in CA Inter, 20 in CS Foundation, 40 and in CS Final. And not just this, he's awarded silver medal in CS for securing highest marks on all-India basis in advanced company law in CS Final, secured 100% marks in mathematics in CA Foundation, awarded by CBSE for securing 99% marks in accountancy. He's a regular speaker at the CA, CS and CMA forums and has delivered more than 500 lectures in 10 states at pan-India level, has addressed more than 150 webinars during COVID and has attended various ICI national GST and tax conferences as a brilliant and eloquent speaker. He's a professor of advanced accounts, strategic financial management and advanced cost management and appointed as the course reviewer of ICI course, CA course curriculum by ICI. He was titled as Rajasthan Shri on the occasion of Rajasthan Stapna Divas, runs a YouTube channel named Professional Adda and is appointed by the ICI for conducting various career counseling sessions and is the GST expert and coordinator to GST implementation in Ajmer district. We are absolutely elated by your presence as a speaker today and excitingly look forward for your session on GST amendments and way ahead. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for such a warm welcome. Thank you, Nidhi. Respected Dhaval Kothari ji, Hemant ji, and my very, very, very close friend Kirti bhai. Kirti bhai, it is always a pleasure to share the stage with you. And yes, truly saying, we have been sharing the stages at lot many places. और आप भी आज के स्पीकर ही हैं सर. Whatever time you have, ये हम सबकी खुशकिस्मती होगी if we are able to hear you. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Jodhpur branch, which has taken such an amazing initiative to combine all the regions, probably one of its rare kind, in which all the relevant CIRC, SIRC, EIRC, NIRC, WIRC, every place, every kind of region is there, right? And most importantly, the session is planned for students, the torch bearers of the profession and the future of the profession. I am highly delighted. And yes, it is our pleasure that all the respective committee members are also here. Plus, it is rightly mentioned in the initial stages of the webinar itself that GST is not a subject, but it is an emotion. It is very rightly said. Kirti bhai has started with a very important remark of ITC. I very well remember your words, Kirti bhai. In later times to come, majorly there would be three areas which would be highly litigation prone. One would be definitely ITC. Second would be whether a transaction is to be considered as a supply or not. And third would be HSN nomenclature, HSN classification. I distinctly remember your words. And yes, the time has come and it is the real time. And it is a great opportunity for the upcoming members, for the upcoming students and all, who are going to serve the profession. It is the real time for amazing delivery, for amazing sessions, for amazing knowledge enrichment, for all kind of GST litigations, right? So, moreover, one more thing I would like to tell to all my students is that the most important thing in your whole CA curriculum is your articleship. Please don't try to ever underestimate the importance of the same. See, whatever I am, whosoever I am, is because of articleship. Believe me or not, whatever are my, academic credentials, but the most important thing is my articleship. Because with that articleship itself, with the practical exposure itself, all the, what you can say, all the practical knowledge, the exam writing, the knowledge enrichment, plus how to face the exams, plus all the real life scenarios made me very, very comfortable with all the questions which are being asked in the exams. Probably all the students are already aware that nowadays the exam questions, the exam papers majorly deal with all kind of practical experience, practical real life experiences and practical exposures. Be it your auditing or be it your Companies Act, indirect taxes, direct taxes. Chaliye, without taking much of the time, I am being given a task, a Herculean task rather. Kirti bhai has very correctly mentioned that yes, this one slide is very, very common. What are the recent changes in GST? And I strongly believe way forward for even next 3 to 4 years, this is going to be the truth in this economy. Because the kind of changes and the speed and the velocity at which the changes are being arising, it is at a very great pace, right? So let me start the session with my presentation. I believe my presentation is visible to all. Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The most recent notifications, there are basically three recent notifications, notification number 18, 19 and 20, which have been published, which have been arrived on 28th of September 2022. I mean, those days in which every practicing member, and rather I would say every article, was heavily and untiringly busy during tax audits. So these three notifications are very, very important. क्या बोला गया है notifications में वो देखते हैं. चलिए, let's have a look. See, these three notifications basically gave one very important, gave payment or gave a part to important amendments of the Finance Act 2022. All these amendments were already part of Finance Act, but they have been brought into real life after these notifications have been arrived. As Kirti bhai started, input tax credit being the most important point and the real life scenario also. So there are some changes in main section 16 subsection 2. Kirti bhai has already mentioned that there were initially 4 conditions in section 16 subsection 2, Then one more condition was added in previous budget 2021, and now there is one more condition in section 16 subsection 2 itself by insertion of clause BA. Let's have a look. To restrict the amount of ITC on the basis of eligibility or otherwise as per amended or new form GSTR 2A or 2B of the recipient under section 38 of the CGST Act. Now, one very important point to be referred here is basically all the host, please do the needful.
You are mute, Ankit bhai. You are mute. Kindly unmute yourself.
Basically, the protective covenants or the conditions or the restrictions as mentioned in section 16 section 2, those are being increased. All the conditions are being increased. And now onwards, one very important aspect that has given a light in these notifications, rather the picture came through budget itself, right? So what is the main important criteria? The most important criteria in this aspect is now the ITC is not available on provisional basis. Originally, during last 5 years, rather I would say almost 5.5 years, the ITC was being available or was being availed on provisional basis. Now that concept has gone through. Now there cannot be, since the government has also realized that there cannot be any two-way communication, and hence all the concepts relating to GSTR2, GSTR3 has been done away with. And due to this, on this aspect, all these insertions are being taken care of, right? Another important amendment is omission of section 42, 43, 43A, which was leading to matching or reversal or reclaim of ITC or reclaim of reduction in output tax liability, and the procedure for furnishing return and availing ITC. Now, all such concept was basically relevant for two-way communication, right? Third important aspect in relation to ITC only, extension of date for availment of ITC by substituting section 16 subsection 4 and section 34. See, all of us are aware that as per section 16 subsection 4, the last date to avail ITC, in fact, the term used in section 16 subsection 4 is to take ITC, although that is a subject matter of litigation also, and probably as far as I can think of that Arpit ji Haldia must have taken this aspect, but still section 16 subsection 4 takes care of the ITC, and the words mentioned are to take ITC. Now this take ITC is very dangerous per se. क्यों मैं ऐसा आपको बोल रहा हूँ? देखिए, take ITC, can it be equated to avail ITC or not? Now this is a big question, and this is a question of huge litigation as well, because at every place, wherever you can mention, wherever you can see, wherever you can ever imagine, be it notification or be it circular or be it act or be it rules or be it even press release, be it GSTR 9, be it 9C, be it all kind of GST notifications or whatever, everywhere ITC has been used with the term availment. Now, what do you mean by the term availment? ITC availed is to be referred whatever ITC you are going to avail in your GSTR 3B. I am presuming that every student, whosoever is listening, is well aware of terms GSTR1, GSTR3B, GSTR2A, GSTR2B, because previous 3 sessions covered all these aspects. Hemant ji, am I correct, or should I take 2 minutes to comprehend the same? मैं बता दूं फिर भी एक बार. Or if Nidhi or Aman ji can guide, Anmol can guide. GSTR
Sir,
1, GSTR 3B,
So
have
we
you
have
guys?
already done this. You may proceed.
Okay. Yes. Correct. Right. So basically, ITC is to be availed using GSTR 3B. And the time deadline mentioned in section 16, subsection 4 was up till due date. Please mark my words, due date of return of September of next financial year. What I mean to convey is, say for example, for financial year 21-22, due date of return of September. Return means GSTR 3B, right? GSTR 3B due date of return of September would be 20th of October or 22nd of October or 24th of October, depending upon states and depending upon the aggregate turnover as mentioned in section 2 clause 6, right? So there are n number of things, but now the main amendment is with respect to this extension of date. Now what is to be referred here for extension of date in this, right? So basically such extension of date I would like to mention here is, now ITC can be availed, or all kind of issues in your return can be availed till 30th of November of subsequent year. I repeat, till 30th of November of subsequent year, or annual return, whichever is earlier. Previously the date was 20th of October effectively, right? Now the date has been shifted to 30th of November. The concept of due date has gone. First important point. Moreover, the time deadline has increased. Now, what can be the probable reasons for this? See, all of us are aware that during last 2 years, due to COVID, the date of tax audit has been extended. This year, the date of tax audit was being, freezed at 30th of September initially, and on the last date, it was extended by 7 more days. But this amendment was being brought in this budget itself, that let the assessee get some more time. The main reason probably is on account of there were many ongoing litigations also, for all practical purpose of section 16 subsection 4, right? So proceeding further, there is one more amendment of substitution of section 41. This we have already discussed, that previously during the last 5.5 years, ITC was being available on provisional basis. But now this section change, or this amendment in section 41 has been given effect in such a way that now such amendment, now such change, now any kind of ITC availment is to be done with respect to when your ITC gets reflected in your GSTR 2A or 2B respectively, right? One more amendment, very Draculian amendment, I would say, is substitution of section 38. This has been introduced to impose restrictions on availment of ITC on inward supplies. This provides for amended or new form GSTR 2A 2B, where details of inward supplies is communicated to the taxpayer with a bifurcation as to which ITC is admissible, right? And moreover, there is one more point. What all ITC cannot be taken by a taxpayer owing to reasons such as, first point, vendor or supplier has defaulted in payment of output taxes. See, till date, please mark my words, till date, there is no mechanism through returns by which any assessee can identify whether the outward tax liability has been actually settled by supplier or not. And if there is no mechanism per se to check whether my supplier or whether my vendor has actually paid the liability or not, I would say that this provision by itself will create a lot of critications. Although this point was being covered in originally drafted section 16 subsection 2 clause C as well, right? It was referred as subject to provisions of section 41. The supplier has paid the tax, or rather the tax on such supply has been paid, right? So already it was litigation proof. Now, this substitution of section 38 will bring more litigations per se. That a thing, an activity, a task, a transaction, when it is not in the control of the assessee or not in the control of recipient, then how can there be a situation whereby this can be a precondition to claim or to avail or to utilize the ITC, right? Because ITC is my constitutional right. It would be available by default, regardless of the fact, right? Then next point, output tax shown by vendor or supplier in its GSTR1 exceeds by output tax shown in GSTR3B by a prescribed limit. Now, what it refers? It basically means when the supplier pays lower amount of tax in GSTR3B as compared to what he has shown in his GSTR1. Now, what kind of issue is being arising? See, what happens that now in majority of the contracts, the recipients are mentioning one condition during the contracts, during the contract between supplier and receiver, right? That if the ITC would be visible in my GSTR2A, GSTR2B, only then I would make the payment. So now this is very important aspect now, that the outward supply is to be correctly reported by the supplier. Supplier, even if he does not have the tax element in his hand, even if he does not have the uh, cash availability or ITC availability in his account, even then he shows full amount of outward supply in GSTR1 so that the recipient gets full ITC, or the recipient uh, can see full ITC in his GSTR2A or GSTR2B. And at the time of making payment, that is at the time of GSTR3B, he fills the data with lower amounts. So that is why this B point has come into picture, that output tax shown by vendor or supplier in its GSTR1 exceeds by output tax shown in GSTR3B. 3B में आपने टैक्स कम पे करा तो ITC नहीं मिलेगा रेसिपिएंट को, ये बेसिक मतलब है. C point, vendor has availed ITC more than what is admissible to him by a prescribed limit. Now, what is this prescribed limit? Till date, it is not being prescribed, right? Now, let's say, for example, whatever amount was being visible in GSTR2B, only that much amount was being eligible for recipient. Is it right? No, sir. There is one more point to it. क्या है सर, इसमें और क्या खास बात है? जितना 2B में दिख रहा है उतना ले लें? नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है सर. देखिए क्या है, whatever amount is being visible in GSTR2B, from that ITC, ineligible ITC is to be reduced. And now comes the position for eligible ITC as appearing in 2B on relevant date. And only that much amount can be availed as ITC. Now suppose that eligible ITC appearing in 2B, eligible ITC appearing in 2B is rupees 1 lakh. What I'm trying to say is, suppose total ITC appearing in GSTR2B was 1,05,000, out of which 5,000 rupees was ineligible. So I've reduced that. Eligible ITC is rupees 1 lakh rupees, right? But the recipient has availed, say for example, 1,01,000 rupees in its 3B. So whether this section will be invoked, because amount or the percentage limit is not being mentioned there. See, I strongly believe such a kind of very harsh implication of this section 38 should not come into picture. And government will definitely try to smooth line this spatial kind of ambiguity which has arisen even after this amendment, which has come 20 days back. आप समझ रहे हैं, इस amendment आने के बावजूद भी we are pretty sure that there would be one more amendment which will bring into picture that what will be the prescribed limit. See, all of us are aware that from 1st of July 2017 GST is coming to picture, around 5.5 years, right? लेकिन जितने दिन है ना सर 5.5 सालों में, उससे ज्यादा अमेंडमेंट हुआ है. हर दिन में एक से ज्यादा अमेंडमेंट एवरेज, आप ये समझिए. So many amendments are there, right? Then further, some important amendment in GST registration as well. There is amendment in scenarios wherein proper officer can cancel the GST registration of a taxpayer under section 29. Now this is again very Draculian provision. Say for example, the assessee on account of specific reasons or particular reasons or personal reasons or justifiable reasons, he was unable to file the return. Suppose if he has taken composition status, then he was unable to file the composition return GSTR for a financial year beyond 3 months from the due date of furnishing of the said return. Then his registration might be cancelled. Now this is very serious provision. I strongly believe if an assessee takes this provision to code of law, then there cannot be any scenario in which court will not reassure or reassign or recorrect or re-register his registration, right? Similarly, another point, in case of persons other than paying tax in the composition scheme, meaning they were normal registered persons, GST registration can be cancelled by the proper officer for the continuous tax period as may be prescribed. Prior to this, GST registration can be cancelled when no GST return is filed by such assessee for a continuous period of 6 months. Now, after this amendment, this period is not mentioned. Now, what if such period is again reduced to 3 months? This will intentionally bring more litigation, or this will block huge amount of credit. Both the scenarios are not in favor of a developing economy. So I believe even this provision is to be challenged, and it may again lead to another changes. Further, GST refund. Now, this is definitely a positive move. Refund application is to be filled if assessee wants to claim a refund of excess balance in GST PMT 03, that is electronic cash ledger. See, previously what was happening is RFD 01A was required to be filed. Now, what was that? All kinds of refund were to be taken through RFD 01 only, right? Be it balance of electronic cash ledger itself. Now there is specific form for that, and I strongly believe, and in my opinion particularly, such GST PMT 03 would be sanctioned very fast, would be approved very fast, right? Second point, for supplies to SEZ developer or SEZ unit. SEZ means special economic zones, right? Refund is to be filled within 2 years from the due date on which GSTR 3B is filed or ought to have been filed. There are a lot of confusions on this matter, especially with reference to the relevant date. Now the situation has been clarified and things are clear. Now what is the situation? That the 2 years are to be counted from the respective due date of the filing of GSTR 3B. Okay. A specialized agency of QNO, consulate, embassy can claim a refund of tax on inward supply within 2 years. Earlier, at the time of introduction of GST, it was 6 months, which was extended to 18 months, and now it has been further made as 2 years, so that all kinds of refunds go hand in hand, go line by line, go together. You know, some important amendments which came in July 2022 by way of notifications on account of recommendations of 47 GST Council. Now, what are those amendments? Now, let's have a look at the basic infrastructure of GST Council. How does it work? See, basically, they call a meeting, they discuss some important matters, and there are even group of ministers who consider some important issues. They even consider some important areas which require amendments. What are the issues faced by industries? Has any industry association given any representation, whether such representation is to be considered, whether any change is required in law? All kinds of decisions are first analyzed by GST Council, and then they recommend to CBIC, which issues notifications, right? So that is how it works. 6 important recommendations were there. First, rate rationalization to remove inverted duty structure. See, in many cases, the outward supply was being taxed at 5%, and the inward supply was being received at 12% or 18%. So there was huge issue that always ITC was getting accumulated. To remove such issues, क्या किया गवर्नमेंट ने? या तो आउटवर्ड की रेट बढ़ा दी या फिर इनवर्ड उसका आईटीसी कम कर दिया. समझ रहे हैं आप? दोनों ही केस के अंदर इन्वर्टेड ड्यूटी स्ट्रक्चर में जो आईटीसी ब्लॉक था वो अमाउंट धीरे धीरे कम होता जाएगा. Other GST rate changes, recommendations, say for example, GST is to be levied even on some hospitals now. This is very dangerous proposition. Now GST rate changes and GST mechanism changes also, I would like to say, on goods and transport agent also. That is again very dangerous, right? So we are going to discuss all that. Withdrawal of exemptions on certain goods and services or both. I seriously doubt how this is going to take place, how this is going to apply. But this should not be the fate that some important things, some important items which a person consumes in his day-to-day life, even those are brought in GST net. That should not be the case. Okay, then again, propose to apply GST or raise GST on casinos or race courses and online gambling. Clarification on GST rates in relation to GST rates, goods and services. Other miscellaneous changes like service of Postal Department of Post, GTA, and service provided by Indian tour operators to a foreign resident for a tour partially in India and partially outside India. Now some important changes which came in July 2022. Notification number 9. See, this is again very important notification. This is definitely a welcome move. Section 50 was dealing with interest. Now, section 50 subsection 3, section 50 subsection 3 basically conveyed one very important aspect. क्या बोला उसमें, क्या concept है, जरा देखिए. Originally आपके पास section 50 subsection 1 के अंदर जो rate prescribe की गई, that was 18%, and the rate prescribed in section 50 subsection 3 was 24%. Initially, there were huge confusions and there were many kinds of judgments in AAR, AAR also, Authority for Advanced Rulings. Right? What the judgment said, basically, there was a concept in which even if ITC was not being utilized, it was just being availed, even then, interest is to be levied. Which in my reading also, in my understanding also, with utmost humbleness also, this should not have been the contention and the intention of law per se, right? So basically, such an amendment was really the need of the hour. And through this notification number 9, from this 5th of July 2022, one very important aspect came into picture, a welcome move rather, that there will not be any interest on mere availment of wrong ITC. For any implication of interest, there should be utilization of such ITC as well. If ITC is not being utilized, then there cannot be any kind of levy of interest only on wrong availment per se, right? And the most important point here is that this has been substituted retrospectively from the initiation of GST, that is from 1st of July 2017. Now, what I mean to convey here is that such a welcome move has been implemented retrospectively. मतलब 1 जुलाई से implement हो गया. तो जितने भी ये केस चल रहे थे, all these cases have got no future left now. In case a taxpayer has mistakenly availed wrong ITC but not utilized it, then interest shall not be levied. Now, one more point. What is exactly meant by utilization? What is exactly meant by utilization? Anyone on chat box, if he or she can reply, what is exactly meant by utilization? Utilization of ITC. Anyone?
Sir, maybe utilization of ITC means to pay our liability in the GST or to pay our to net off our output tax liability. That is the meaning of utilization of ITC.
Perfect. Whatever outward liability has arisen in your GST or 3B on account of your outward supplies, to settle such outward supply or to pay off such outward tax liability, right? You have utilized such ITC. Then proceeding further, same view, similar kind of view was being taken by various courts also. I initially told you that there were differing judgments in AAR and AAAR. But yes, there were some high court decisions also which clearly pointed out that in case there is no utilization of ITC, then there cannot be any levy of interest per se. Now, such kind of amendment will definitely reduce the amount of litigation. Another important change is notification number 9. Basically, transfer of balance in e-cash ledger between distinct persons. Now, what is exactly meant by distinct person? See, all of us are aware that in case of income tax, there is a concept of PAN number. Now, if suppose there is a private limited, there will be one single PAN number. But in case that private limited is functioning in 10 different states, then such private limited has to take 10 different GST registrations, right? Now, in case it has taken 10 different GST registrations, then 10 different and 10 times additional liability of filing of returns, filing of GSTR1, GSTR3B, checking of GSTR2A, GSTR2B, then again, for all practical purposes, checking of all kinds of whether ITC is being available or not. Alok ji, namaste. Whether ITC is to be taken care of or not, right? Then all kinds of annual filing, GSTR9, 9C, right? So all those persons, all those GST registrations, even if there was one single PAN number, but since there were different GST registrations, there is always a concept of distinct person. क्या बोला गया? PAN number वही है, लेकिन GST numbers कई सारे. Now there can be a possibility in which there is a balance in cash ledger in one GST registration, but there is outward tax liability, net cash liability in another GST registration. Now, what is to be done for that? Previously, before the amendment, the main possibility, or the rather the only possibility, was that to avail the refund from this cash ledger and then pay off the liability in another GST registration. See what happens in practical life. Say, for example, you have to make payment for your outward tax liability, say, for example, with respect to Gujarat, cash liability. But the assessee wrongly makes payment or wrongly introduces the payment in e-cash ledger in, say, for example, Rajasthan. Now there was no other mechanism but to take the refund of Rajasthan e-cash ledger and to make another payment for Gujarat cash amount, right? Now this provision has this change, this amendment has reduced or has removed such possibility or has removed such shortcomings. Now cash ledger balance can be transferred to another registration number. This is the main punchline. The transfer of cash ledger balance to another registration number, but to all such persons only having the same PAN number, meaning thereby distinct person only. Surprisingly but true, distinct person is not defined in section 2. What I mean to say is it is not defined in dictionary clause of CGST Act. It is being referred or it is being explained, it is being introduced through section 15 in CGST Act, right? It is useful in case whereby cash balance is available in one GST registration, but there is outward tax liability in another. Again, difficulty. This notification says only about IGST and CGST, which can be transferred. Sir, what about SGST if balance is lying in SGST? So now you have to first transfer the balance of SGST to CGST and then transfer to another. Okay, another change, notification number 10. There is change in section 44. As we all are aware, since last 2-3 years also, the registered persons having turnover up to rupees 2 crores for financial year 21-22 are exempted from filing of annual return for financial year 21-22 as well. बिल्कुल ठीक बात है, जिनका 2 करोड़ तक का टर्नओवर है. Now here turnover means aggregate turnover. Aggregate turnover means as defined in section 2 clause 6. क्या क्या कवर होता है उसमें? Whether it covers intra-state supply or interstate supply? Please reply on chat box. Is chat box open for all the participants or no?
Sir, so supply all over India.
It's a supply all over India.
India.
Okay, supply all over India. Meaning thereby you mean to say interstate supply as well as intra-state supply.
Yes, sir.
And what if the supply is being done within the same PAN number, but to different registration?
Sir, it is
Meaning
a
yeah, please.
Sir, it is sir, if we do it from one state to the another, then we have to consider it. We have to pay, I think, tax onto it, just like it is to a distinct person. And within same state, there is no such. We can transfer it from one branch to other.
Okay, without making payment of any tax.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, then whatever amount is being paid through RCM liability, whether that is also to be considered? Please reply.
So, 1 second. No, sir. From RCM, we didn't consider. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah. So RCM, whatever amount is paid through RCM
Sir,
liability, that is not to be considered, right?
Sir, because it is not by the part of our sales. It is like on purchase we have paid on behalf of our क्या कहते हैं, creditor. We have paid their liability from our balance, so it is not considered as a part of aggregate turnover.
Perfect. Because it is not a part of outward supply per se.
Yes, sir.
Very good, Arvind. Then further, this we have already discussed that similar situation was existing in previous year also. But as we must be aware, Hemant ji, Alok ji, suppose if there is any adjustment which is required to be done. Say for example, there was some adjustment. Say for example, like all the adjustments were not being done in 21-22 itself, and some adjustments are being done in 22-23 also, meaning thereby next year up to September, or rather now this date has been shifted up to 30th of November. Now what is to be done in that case? Should we file GST 9? ओके, आलोक जी बोल रहे हैं कि बिल्कुल फाइल करना चाहिए, देखिए ठीक बात है। प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ के लिए यही बात हम सब स्टूडेंट्स को समझनी है कि लॉ कुछ और है, प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ कुछ और है। बिकॉज एट द टाइम ऑफ योर असेसमेंट, such kind of adjustment, such kind of am I audible? Because I got a notification. Okay. Because all such kind of amendments must be very clearly visible for the assessing officer. Hello.
Sir, you are not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Okay. So ideally, legally, these two are two different aspects. Practically, we should file the annual return. But as per law, we are definitely exempted from filing of the returns. Okay. Then one again, important insertion of proviso, payment of tax by composition niled in CMP 08 for April 22 to June 22 is extended till 31st of July 2020. This was again a welcome move. Basically, this extension has been given for the purpose of so that there is reduction in late fees, right? लेकिन अगर लेट फीस हम ऑलरेडी पे कर चुके हैं, जो आपकी लास्ट डेट थी वो जा चुकी है, अब उसके बाद लेट फीस हम लगा चुके हैं, see definitely we are not going to wait, right? We are not going to wait till 31st of July. So what if late fees has already been paid after this notification, whether the assessee is going to get the refund? Again, very true. See, there cannot be any refund of such late fees. Such an extension, sorry to say, but the fact is such an extension is being given only for the defaulting suppliers. But whosoever has supplied, whosoever has filled the return late, and he has filled the late fees also, such late fees will not be refunded. Yes, I agree. Definitely, this is very harsh provision, but that is the way GST is moving towards. Then another point, the last date to file GSTR4 for financial year 21-22 is also extended to 28th of July 2022. Again, the same point. What if there was a case of late fees? Again, that will not be refunded. But there was one important aspect, that why such extension was there. What is to be done for negative tax liability? एक उसमें आ रहा था negative tax liability. Probably there are many students also who are undergoing articleship, who are undergoing their internship. They must have faced this scenario, that there was a position of negative tax liability. What was required to be done at that moment? If any one of us can slightly explain. Anyone? Hemant ji, Alok ji.
In many cases, I think RCM liability was showing. So because of that, I think negative that amount was
GSTR4,
paid.
sir. Sir, GSTR4 composition.
Okay, composition.
तो नेगेटिव में नहीं है कि इसमें कोई भी
Okay, sir. The solution provided by the GSTN was that you have to first make the payment for such negative tax liability, and then you can claim the refund. Right? But later on, when there was huge discontentment among the business houses, that why, if we have already paid the amount, then why we have to again pay the amount and then claim the refund? Why to go through such unnecessary hassles? And plus, why to go through all this kind of unnecessary compliance? Then such negative tax liability was being removed in later on stages. So on that pretext only such date was extended. Then this notification number 13. So believe me, for next 1 year, this notification number 13/2022 dated 5th of July is going to come every now and then. As we all are aware, section 73 and 74 deals with show cause notices. Right. So today I am discussing only slight part of 73 only. Right. Let us have an understanding. Section 73 basically says and basically prescribes the time limit. Now, what is the time limit per se? See, ideally, whatever is the due date, listen very carefully, right? It is not written on this slide. Stop reading this slide. Listen very carefully. Whatever the time limit, whatever the due date was there to file the annual return, whatever the due date was there to file the annual return, listen very carefully. From there, meaning thereby from that date, within next 3 years, order under section 73 must be received. Order, I am saying the word order under section 73 must be received. See, from 73 or 74. Now, 74 is more serious in nature. For 74, you need to prove that there was some mollified intent, right? So what I'm trying to say, for 73, there need not be any mollified intent, but it was being done only for recovery of tax which is not paid or short paid or ITC wrongly availed or utilized or whatever. But the order must be passed within next 3 years. 3 years from due date of filing of annual return. Now let's analyze the picture or the position for financial year 17-18. being the first phase of GST implementation, first year of GST implementation. So as per section 44, the original due date for filing of annual return of financial year 17-18 was supposed to be 31st of December 2018. 31st March 2018 को साल खत्म हुआ. 31st December, meaning thereby after 9 months only, the GSTR 9, the annual return was required to be filed. Right? 31st December 2018. Please mark my words. 31st December 2018. Such date was extended 7 times. Such date was extended 7 times, right? And ultimately extended, previously it got extended to 31st of March, then to 31st of May, then 30th of June, then 30th of September, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, the due date in whole of India was being shifted to first week of February 2020. 19 नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, 20 बोल रहा हूँ. 31st December 18 was the original due date. It was extended for more than 1 year. And ultimately the due date reached first week of Feb 2020. Now, for all practical purpose, for any kind of order under section 73, it was supposed to be received by first week of Feb 2023. Please understand my words. देखिए, first Feb 2020 तक आपको एनुअल रिटर्न भरनी थी. फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ फेब 2020 तक आपको एनुअल रिटर्न भरनी थी. वहां से 3 साल, तो फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ फेब 2023 पहुंच गए हैं. यहां तक आपको ऑर्डर पास करना. नाउ बिफोर पासिंग एन ऑर्डर अंडर शो कॉज नोटिस, you have to give 3 hearings to the assessee or his authorized representative. 3 hearings के लिए भी टाइम देना पड़ेगा. और इस शो कॉज नोटिस के पहले एक प्री शो कॉज भी आएगा. सी शो कॉज नोटिस इज DRC 01 and pre show cause is DRC 01A. So practically, if we go backward from February 2023 से अपन backward चल लें to cover all such possibilities of 3 or 4 times hearings and even DRC 01A, meaning there were pre-show cause intimation, right? For all such concept, the due date was ideally 30th of September 2022. What I mean to convey is, अगर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 17-18 के लिए, लिसन वेरी केयरफुली, अगर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 17-18 के लिए 73 सेक्शन के अंदर आपको शो कॉज इशू करना है, तो 30th सितंबर 2022 तक इशू करना था. Now such time limit has been extended by 1 year. This particular change, this first point, is in favor of department. This is not in favor of assessing, but such extension is in favor of department. क्या बोला जा रहा है? This notification extends the time limit specified under subsection 10 of section 73 for issuance of order under subsection 9 of section 73 of the said act for recovery of tax not paid, first point, short paid, ITC wrongly availed or ITC wrongly utilized. ये 4 पॉइंट कवर हो रहे हैं. किस साल के लिए? ओनली फॉर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 17-18. क्या टाइम लिमिट बोल दी गई? up till 30th September 2023, meaning thereby the time limit has been extended practically by 1 year, right? But only 4 things, only 4 points, only 4 concepts, only 4 arrangements are covered here. But section 73 covers 5 aspects. Sir, section 73 covers 5 aspects. Now, what is the 5th aspect? 5th aspect is recovery of erroneous refund. 5th aspect is recovery of erroneous refund. अगर आपको कोई रिफंड गलत सैंक्शन कर दिया, उसकी रिकवरी के लिए अब कैसे होगा सर? क्या होगा उसके लिए? किस तरीके से प्रोसीड करें? Let's have a look at second point. It excludes the period from 1st day of March 2020 to 20th day of February 2022, meaning thereby COVID impact, for completion of period of limitation under section 7310 of the said act for issuance of order under subsection 9 of section 73 for recovery of erroneous refund, मीनिंग thereby अगर किसी एसएससी को गलत रिफंड दे दिया तो उसके लिए टाइम लिमिट जो 3 साल गिननी थी, उन 3 साल में से ये 2 साल काउंट नहीं होंगे। प्रैक्टिकली 2 साल कौन से? फ्रॉम 1st of March 2020 to 20th of Feb 2022, ये 2 साल उसमें काउंट नहीं होंगे। तो for recovery of erroneous refund and for issuing show cause notice under section 73 for such cases for financial year 17-18, already the due date is extended by 2 more years, right? Let's have a look at third point. It excludes the period from 1st day of March 2020 to 20th day of February 2022 for completion of period of limitation for filing refund application under section 54 or 55 of the said act. Now what it means? Now what does it mean? Listen very carefully. Basically it means, listen very carefully, right? Such period of 2 years is not to be considered for the purpose of period of limitation. देखिए, you can file refund within 2 years. You can file refund within 2 years from the date of filing of returns. Meaning thereby, say for example, if you are claiming refund of, listen very carefully, if you are claiming refund of November 2017, listen very carefully, November 2017. Now the due date to file the return of November 2017 was 20th of December 2017. 20 दिसंबर थी, यहां से 2 साल, 20 दिसंबर 2017 से 2 साल. Now it arises to 20th of December 2019. I repeat, 20th of December 2019 तक आपको उसका रिफंड अप्लाई करना था. ये जो पीरियड जो एक्सक्लूड किया, ये कब से किया सर? 1st day of March 2020. तो क्या मेरे नवंबर 2017 की रिटर्न का पीरियड एक्सटेंड हो सकता है? नहीं हो सकता. Now that position is gone. Now let us take an example of March 2018. Listen very carefully. All these are really practical aspects to which I am saying you right now. Let's understand the scenario of March 2018. What is the due date? Sir, the due date to file the return for March 18, return, normal return, freebie, is 20th of April 2018. 20th of April, right? Now you can claim refund within 2 years from this date, within 2 years from this date. So now the date up till which refund application is to be filed, ideally without Corona, without this notification, was 20th of April 2020. Now this period falls under this Corona regime, and hence any due date, if it is falling between 1st day of March 20 to 2020 to 28th of Feb 2022, such period will not be considered, right? So for all practical purposes, the date for claiming refund for March 2018 was being extended. लेकिन उस एक्सटेंशन से हुआ क्या सर? उस एक्सटेंशन से हुआ क्या? कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ. कैसे मैं आपको कह रहा हूं, जरा देखिए. See, there is Supreme Court ruling on this, and there is Supreme Court blanket order that all kinds of due date have been deemed to be extended, and if in case any kind of due date is falling between these periods, these particular 2 months period, then in that case all such period is to be considered and is to be counted after this period, whatever the due amount is there. And in case there was no due period left, then you will get another 90 days after expiry of 20th of Feb 2022. So ideally, all kinds of due dates which were expiring in this period, extended till 27th or 28th of May 2022 for all practical purpose. समझ रहे हैं आप? तो 27 मई 2022 तक पहुंच गई फॉर ऑल प्रैक्टिकल पर्पस. तो वो भी निकल गई और ये अमेंडमेंट तो 5 जुलाई को आया. तो फिर अब सर ये अमेंडमेंट 17-18 के काम का ही नहीं है. एंड हेंस what you are visualizing is that financial year 17-18 was being mentioned in first point, but it is not being mentioned in point number second and point number third. Why? Because such exclusion of time limit from, I mean, for a period of 2 years is not to be considered. राइट. एंड हेंस ये जो आपके पास एक्सटेंशन हुआ, जो एक्सक्लूजन ऑफ टाइम पीरियड हुआ, ये 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21 एंड 21, 22 के लिए तो बहुत ज्यादा काम है. ओके, प्रोसीडिंग फर्दर. दिस इज अगेन पॉजिटिव चेंज, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट चेंज पर से. If registration is suspended due to non-filing of returns, then it shall be revoked immediately after filing of pending returns. बहुत ध्यान सुनना. आपने रिटर्न नहीं भरी, registration gets suspended. All of us are aware. Now, whenever you are filing the returns, then it should be revoked immediately. And basically, it means automatically. After filing of pending returns. There should not be a concept that we have to apply again to department that yes, we have filed the returns now. Please reopen our suspended registration. But very important aspect again. See the words mentioned in Rule 21A and Section 29, read along with notification number 14, is that suspension in registration. What if registration is cancelled, sir? Sir, if registration is cancelled, then all such normal procedure, whatever is happening, is to be taken care of. But if the registration is only suspended and yet not cancelled, then yes, it can be revoked immediately after filing of pending returns. Definitely, this is a welcome move. Without any further procedure, it will be done very smoothly. It will be done automatically. So it is a very good concept, but it is applicable only if order of cancellation is not passed. This we have already considered. Again, one very important decision or one very important clarification per se. See, there is a concept of duty credit scripts. Such duty credit scripts are applicable only for exporters. Originally, such duty credit scripts were considered as exempted supplies. And hence there was a concept of, and there were many cases and there were many notices with regard to Rule 43. Now, what does Rule 43 say? Sir, Rule 43 mentions reversal of common credit in case the organization is making taxable supplies as well as exempted supplies. समझ रहे हैं आप? And plus such notification has come into picture retrospectively. क्यों मैं ऐसा बोल रहा हूँ? Because it has been added as an explanation. तो जो भी कभी भी कोई भी explanation होगा, it is always normally to be considered as retrospective, right? Now it has been made very clear that such duty credit script shall not be considered as exempted supplies, and hence there will not be any liability or any issue arising on account of reversal of ITC pertaining to Rule 43, right? Okay, then again, this is in relation to exporters only. If erroneous refund is paid with interest and penalty by DRC 03 by debiting e-cash ledger, then amount of tax shall be recredited to e-credit ledger by PMT 03A. See, what was happening is, listen very carefully. आपके पास आपने यूनिट्स एक्सपोर्ट के लिए लगाए, लेकिन 100% यूनिट जो है वो एक्सपोर्ट नहीं हो पाए. कुछ यूनिट्स आपके पास पोर्ट पे ही रह गए. समझ रहे? आप तो एक्सपोर्ट के लिए ले गए थे, पर वहां पर वो ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ क्वालिटी या ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ इम्प्रॉपर पैकिंग या ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ डैश 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 अदर रीजंस 100% units could not be imported. Say for example, only out of 100 units, only 90 units were being exported, sorry. Now what is to be done? Sir, you have already filed your GSTR1 and GSTR3B. GSTR1 and GSTR3B with 100% units. अब क्या करें सर हम? आइस गेट की साइट पर भी हमने 100% वैल्यू चढ़ा दी. Why? Because otherwise it will lead to mismatch. And if it leads to mismatch, then it creates hindrance. It creates bottleneck in issuance of refund from the side of department. Then what is to be done, sir? What is to be done? In such a case, आप जरा बहुत ध्यान सुनिएगा. ये तब का केस है हर उस एक्सपोर्टर के लिए जब वो एक्सपोर्टर अपनी जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई के लिए भी टैक्स पे कर रहा है. नहीं, जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई के लिए भी टैक्स पे कर रहा है. क्यों कर रहा है सर टैक्स पे? वो टैक्स पे इसलिए कर रहा है बिकॉज दैट सप्लायर इज नॉट यूजिंग द बेनिफिट ऑफ LUT, लेटर ऑफ अंडरटेकिंग का बेनिफिट वो यूज नहीं कर रहा. तो अब क्या करना चाहिए उस केस में? क्या करना चाहिए सर? जब वो उसको नहीं ले रहा उसका बेनिफिट लेटर ऑफ अंडरटेकिंग का, तो वो अपने ITC से या कैश लेजर से पहले पेमेंट करता है टैक्स का, देन इट अप्लाइज फॉर रिफंड, और वो ऑटोमेटिकली वो अमाउंट रिफंड आ जाता है. तो उसका कोई इशू नहीं होता, राइट? वो आइस गेट की साइड से आ जाता है. ओके, देन व्हाट इज टू बी डन? अब क्या करें? इन दिस केस what happens? Only 90 units are being exported, but we have already paid the tax. Full amount of tax through my credit ledger. But now since only 90 units are being exported, I am getting a refund for only 90% amount of tax which I have already paid. So now there is a concept to recredit the e-credit ledger through PMT 03A. Originally also, the concept is being well settled in the minds of department as well as SSC. This is very, very clear. But there was no provision to adjust the same. And hence, such a notification is definitely a welcome move. And whatever was there erroneous refund, the amount is to be repaid back, right? अब आपके पास ITC को recredit करना पड़ेगा, वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगी. आ तो गया है सर ये अमेंडमेंट, किस तरीके से पोर्टल पे आएगा वो अभी तक आया नहीं है. Although a similar circular is also being issued on 6th of July 2022, but yes, such a functionality is yet to be opened on GST portal itself. Till now, till date, there is no automatic functionality, and till now also it has to be done on written request only to the officer. Okay. Important amendment, section 50, interest. See, listen very carefully. Such amendment was being done in previous budget, but this is very important to be considered this time also. Why I am saying you this? Let's have a look. बहुत ध्यान सुनिएगा, बहुत ध्यान से पढ़िएगा. सेक्शन 50 जो है वो इंटरेस्ट को डील करता है. बहुत ध्यान सुनिएगा. Provided that the interest on tax payable in respect of supplies made during a tax period and declared in the return for the said period furnished after the due date in accordance with the provisions of section 39, except where such return is furnished after commencement of any proceeding under section 73 or 74 in respect of said period, shall be payable on that portion of the tax which is paid by debiting the electronic cash ledger. Oh God, so much confusion. Let's recapitulate some small phrases. Now, let's first finish the underlying phase. Suppose if there is notice ongoing under section 73 or 74, there is a notice, then such benefit is not there. Now, what is the actual benefit? Let's have a look. Say, for example, your total outward liability, listen very carefully, your total outward tax liability was 1 lakh rupees. And the ITC available with you was 85,000. So what amount of tax you are going to pay by your cash ledger? 15,000. I hope that is very, very clear, right? So this amendment, this particular amendment, which came in previous budget, clearly mentioned that the interest portion should be levied listen very carefully, the interest portion should be levied only on the amount which has been paid by debiting the cash ledger. Now let's not read the lines which are underlined, only the portion after the underlined lines. Interest shall be payable on that portion of the tax which is paid by debiting the electronic cash ledger. जो अमाउंट आपने कैश से चुकाया ना, आईटीसी वाले अमाउंट पे इंटरेस्ट नहीं लगेगा, जो अमाउंट आपने कैश से चुकाया केवल इंटरेस्ट उस पर ही लगेगा. दिस इज व्हाट इट ट्राइज टू रेफर. लेकिन ये इतना सा नहीं है सर. आप जरा अब इसको एंगल को शुरुआत से और पढ़ें. और अब मैं आपको बताता हूं, जैसा हम लोग करते हुए आए हैं हमारे ऑफिसेज में, आपने एज आर्टिकलशिप ड्यूरिंग ऐसा करा है, राइट? क्या कर रहे हैं हम, या क्या कर रहे हैं कई सारे अकाउंटेंट्स, या क्या कर रहे हैं कई सारे टैक्स प्रोफेशनल्स, या क्या कर रहे हैं कई सारे टैक्स एडवोकेट्स, क्या कर रहे हैं जरा देखिए. जस्ट टू सेव द लेट फीस, listen very carefully, just to save, just to avoid the late fees. Basically it is evasion of late fees. Mark my words, it is evasion of late fees. This should not be done, right? But what they are doing, suppose an assessee has not filed a return of September, October, November, December, 4 months. September, October, November, December, 4 months उसने रिटर्न नहीं भरी. ठीक है, तो हम सितंबर की, अक्टूबर की, नवंबर की नील भर दें अगर, तो लेट फीस कम हो जाएगी. एंड ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ आउटवर्ड टैक्स लायबिलिटी एंड इनवर्ड, राइट, आउटवर्ड टैक्स लायबिलिटी, आउटवर्ड सप्लाई एंड इनवर्ड सप्लाई, वो हम दिसंबर के 3B में ले लेंगे. सर देन इट इज क्रिएटिंग अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम. नाउ हैव अ लुक अगेन. Provided that the interest on tax payable in respect of supply is made during a tax period and declared in the return. सितंबर की आउटवर्ड सप्लाई तो आपने दिसंबर में दिखाई सर. That means the benefit of reduced interest only on cash portion will not be allotted to you. I repeat, suppose if outward tax liability of September is being shown in December, then in that case, for all practical purpose, the law says that the interest would be levied on whole outward tax liability and not on net cash liability. समझ रहे हैं आप? ये मतलब है इस important provision का. मैं ये बात आपको क्यों बता रहा था? Because now by way of this notification, manner of calculation of interest, tax on net liability if return is filed belatedly. Tax on net liability if return is filed belatedly, and tax on gross liability if output tax is belatedly reported. ध्यान समझिए, टैक्स ऑन ग्रॉस लाइबिलिटी इफ आउटपुट टैक्स इज बिलेटेडली रिपोर्टेड. सितंबर की टैक्स लाइबिलिटी आपने दिसंबर में शो करी, सितंबर की टैक्स लाइबिलिटी आपने दिसंबर में शो करी, मैंने रिटर्न लेट करी, वो पहला पॉइंट है सर. रिटर्न आपने लेट फाइल करी, सितंबर की रिटर्न आपने लेट फाइल करी, लेकिन रिटर्न सही थी. जो आउटवर्ड सितंबर का था आउटवर्ड सितंबर लिया, जो इनवर्ड था वो इनवर्ड सितंबर में लिया, मैंने रिटर्न सही फाइल करी. उस केस के अंदर नेट लायबिलिटी पे लगेगा ब्याज. लेकिन सेकंड पॉइंट, टैक्स ऑन ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी इफ आउटपुट टैक्स इज बिलेटेडली रिपोर्टेड, अगर आपने आउटपुट टैक्स को लेट रिपोर्ट करा तो फिर टैक्स ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी पे लगेगा. ठीक है, इंटरेस्ट जो है वो ग्रॉस लायबिलिटी पे लगेगा. ठीक है. Wrong availment and utilization 24% from date of utilization till date of reversal. I think this is very, very clear. Major changes in exemptions, क्या क्या important changes आपको और दिए गए. Renting of residential dwelling to a registered person is now taxable. This is very dangerous proposition. And till date also, this is yet not settled. Till date also. After every 15-20 days, there is a tweet from the department, there's a tweet from government that no, government is not trying to impose tax on residential dwelling. Now, what I'm trying to convey here is, say for example, there is a registered assessee, an individual. Let's assume an individual, ठीक है? वो कोई business premises rent पर लेता है, वो कोई business premises rent पर लेता है, ठीक है? Now on such business premises, समझना आप ध्यान से, on such business premises, tax is to be levied. कौन लेगा टैक्स? सर वो टैक्स लेगा सामने वाला जो सप्लायर है, वो अगर रजिस्टर्ड है तो, रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है तो, अगर वो सामने रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है तो आप आरसीए में पे करोगे. चलो यहाँ तक की बात ठीक. यहाँ तक की बात ठीक थी, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी। लेकिन मैं वो रजिस्टर्ड असेसी हूँ, मेरा बिजनेस चल रहा है रेंटेड में, उसका आरसी मुझे पे करना पड़े, कोई इशू नहीं। लेकिन मैं जिस घर में रहता हूँ वो भी किराए पर है, उसके ऊपर भी मुझे आरसीएम पे करना पड़े, सर इज दैट इन रिलेशन टू माय बिजनेस? इज दैट इन रिलेशन टू फर्दरेंस ऑफ माय बिजनेस? डेफिनेटली नो. So there cannot be any RCM liability on this, and this is going to create lot more hurdles, lot more litigations per se. Now in the same situation, let's assume for a big company in which directors are staying on rent. समझ रहे हैं, डायरेक्टर्स ने घर किराए पर लिया, उनकी भी सेम स्थिति हो गई, राइट? सो अगेन दिस इज गोइंग टू ब्रिंग लॉट मेनी लिटिगेशंस. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, hotels or inns, guest house, clubs or campsite by whatever name called, charging even up to rupees 1000 per room per day are now taxable at 12%. Previously the concept was any hotel, any inn, any guest house or any place of dwelling, if they are charging amount up to rupees 1000 only per day, then there is no GST liability on the same. But now such exemption has been done away with. Such exemption is gone. Such exemption is gone. This is going to increase the cost of travel. And I believe that all of us are aware. Suppose if an assessee of Maharashtra comes to Gujarat for purchasing or selling goods, for meeting, for developing new relations with new suppliers or new customers, then when he stays in a hotel, he is not going to get the credit of ITC. Why? Why? Sir, because the hotel owner is going to charge CGST and SGST of Gujarat, whereas the assessee was registered in Maharashtra. So he was not in a position to get the benefit of ITC, Gujarat ITC, right? So Gujarat CGST, Gujarat SGST, he was not getting any benefit. Now onwards, again, he's not getting the benefit, but now even the small value rooms have been brought into the net of GST. This is going to increase the cost also. Plus, even if all of us go on a family trip, go for vacations, then whatever room we are staying in, this is going to create additional brunt of 12% of GST on that. So travel is going to be, and the stay is going to be costlier per se. This is going to reduce the and going to hit adversely to the travel industry per se, hotel industry per se. Somehow they are still, gaining strength after COVID, but now this is again a big blow. Okay, no exemption to GTA where freight is 1500 or 750. Originally in notification number 12/2017, central tax rate dated 28th of June 2017, 28 जून 2017 की बात कर रहा हूँ. At that time, there was exemption in RCM. क्या बोला गया? In case the amount charged by GTA is 1500, is less than 1500 or less than 750, then there will not be any RCM liability per se. But now onwards, there will be RCM liability. Okay. Then service by RBI, IRDA, SEBI, FSI, GST, and code blood banks are now taxable. Services by hospitals charging room charges more than rupees 5000 per day is taxable. This is again not a welcome move at all. But if the charges are charged for ICU or CCU or ICCU, then no GST applicable. Sir, कोई भी हिंदुस्तान में ऐसा आदमी है क्या जो हॉस्पिटल घूमने के लिए जाता है? कोई भी एक भी दिखा दे आप. I don't agree on it. ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं है सर, पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. तो कोई आदमी जो बीमार है वो हॉस्पिटल गया और वहां पर अगर वो रूम रेंट 5000 रुपए से ज्यादा का देकर आता है, then there will be GST on that also, and for that he is not going to get any ITC out of that. What kind of economic decision is this? I don't understand only. treatment or disposal of common biomedical waste to clinical establishments are now taxable. And who is going to procure such common biomedical waste from such establishments? This is again not a welcome move. Why I am saying this? Because such clinical establishments, they are practically not covered under GST ambit. लेकिन जो इनपुट है वो उनका जीएसटी लग के आ रहा है, तो सर इनपुट तो मिलना ही नहीं उनको. Okay, and there are some burning issues with respect to GT. Originally, GTAs were having two options. From originally, what I mean to refer is from October 2017. Originally, from 1st July, there was only RCM. Then, from October 2017, there were two categories. Either GTA could have been remaining in RCM, or it could have opted forward charge, 12% rate. Now there is one more possibility, 5% forward charge without ITC. Whatever amount, whatever planning, whatever scheme, whatever concept a GTA is applying, he has to report to jurisdiction officer before the start of the year, that is before 15th March of the preceding financial year, right? And even for this financial year which is going, meaning thereby 22-23 financial year, even in this financial year, he was supposed to give a declaration on or before 16th of August 2022 that whether he is going to opt for forward charge mechanism or not, right? Some important issues. I'm so sorry. Okay, rental properties, we have already considered the big issue. Then fake invoicing, this is again a big concept. Now, what is exactly fake invoicing? Any one of us, if wants to share? Fake invoicing, हाँ जी, किसी को भी idea हो? Bogus invoicing or fake invoicing, anyone?
सर फेक वेजेस बिल लेबर नहीं होने के अलावा भी मतलब ऐसे
ठीक बात है. But what is the implication of GST on that?
No, sir.
I mean, there is no GST on wages. There is no GST on salaries as well. तो फिर यहाँ पर GST में ये issue.
Fake sales bills to claim ITC. Fake sales bill to claim ITC.
Okay. So let's not call it as fake sales bill. Let's call it as fake inward bills. Right? Supply हुए ही नहीं, good supply हुए ही नहीं, सिर्फ मैंने bills procure करे. आप समझ रहे हैं? सिर्फ मैंने invoices procure करे. मेरे पास goods नहीं आए हैं. सिर्फ मैंने invoicing खरीदी है. सिर्फ मेरे पास bill आए हैं. Right? वो fake invoicing. इसके लिए भी circular आए हैं. Hotel industry, this is going to be receiving a big blow. ये अपन discuss कर चुके already. Pre-packaged, this is again a big problem. Any kind of pre-packaged goods, edible goods, if the packet is up to 25 kgs, then there would be GST element of that. This is again very dangerous. जो small packets हैं उसके ऊपर GST लगना और बड़े packets पे GST नहीं लगना, this should not be considered as a welcome move. Now let us assume a concept, let us assume a case in which आप समझ रहे हैं किसी एक lower family को या medium family को वो एक साथ 25 kgs का क्या करेगा? एक साथ इतने पैसे ही नहीं है उसके पास एक साथ इतने खरीदने के. तो suppose if that household is purchasing 10 units of 5 kgs or 10 kgs, तो उस पर GST है. कोई capable है अगर, और अगर वो एक बार में 26 kgs खरीद रहा है, then there is no GST on that. तो ये कुछ उल्टा हो गया है. मतलब जो capable हैं उनसे GST हम नहीं ले रहे हैं, जो incapable है उनसे GST ले रहे हैं और input उनको मिलना नहीं है. Right? So again, this is going to change the scenario. This is going to change the flow also. And I strongly believe that this provision is going to be changed in times to come. Hospital industry, we have already considered for any room rent for more than rupees 5,000, there would be GST element. Tour operator service. सपोज जैसे कोई भी टूर ऑपरेटर है जो इंडिया और बाहर दोनों के टूर्स अगर एक साथ कर रहे हैं तो उस रेशो में डिवीजन हो जाएगा, राइट, आउटपुट सप्लाई का विद अ क्लियर कट डिमार्केशन. एंड देयर इज वन मोर इम्पोर्टेंट चेंज, वन इम्पोर्टेंट जजमेंट, ट्रान रिलेटेड सुप्रीम कोर्ट रूलिंग, राइट. So basically, what was this Tran 1, Tran 2, क्या होता था ये? जो भी आपके पुराने रिजीम में वैट पीरियड की, एक्साइज पीरियड की, कस्टम्स लॉ की, सर्विस टैक्स रिजीम की, जो भी आपके पास कोई सेनवेट क्रेडिट या वैट इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट या वैट क्रेडिट थी, सेनवेट था, कुछ भी था, वो अमाउंट आप आगे कैरी फॉरवर्ड कर सकते थे जीएसटी रिजीम में, ट्रांजिशनल क्रेडिट के नाम से. Now, in case any assessee, is not in a position, was not in a position, yeah, it it mistakenly took excess ITC or reduced the ITC, whatever, then there is a possibility that such amount can be changed now. So, how to handle notices and replies? I think Arpit ji has already taken this view, but I would definitely like to mention this, that all of you have got a very bright future in case you all go in GST litigation per se, because in times to come, for next 2 decades at least, there would be plethora of GST cases. There would be n number of GST notices, GST appeals, GST show cause notices, and then appeals, and then challenging a provision in high courts and all. This is an upcoming field. And in times to come, believe me or not, the regular practice of GST return filing, I repeat, the regular practice of only GST return filing is not going to continue. It is definitely going to, it is definitely going to be hampered. So this was all from my side. Any questions from your side? Because I was being told that you have to plan in such a way that even students get some 15, 20 odd minutes for any queries or for any questions from their side. Any kind of queries. The queries can be general also. Any student, if he or she wants to ask. Anyone?
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Sir, actually, I wanted to, this is not dotted out, but one general thing. सर आपको नहीं लगता कि कभी भी अपनी गवर्नमेंट को शॉर्ट विजन है, मतलब वो लॉन्ग टर्म में जैसे अपनी रेट्स को कम करके ज्यादा इंडस्ट्रीज खड़ी करके टैक्स वसूलने की जगह हाई रेट्स वसूल रही है, जैसे बेसिक फैसिलिटीज होती है फूड पे, रेसिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग्स पे, मेडिकल्स पे, एंड और भी जैसे आपने बताया बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट, जो कि बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. सर आपको भी ये चीज नहीं, जैसे इनकम टैक्स में भी चीज देखते हैं हम कि कितना ज्यादा हायर स्लैब्स आ रहे हैं, लगातार सरचार्जेस बढ़ रहे हैं. सर डू यू आल्सो थिंक कि गवर्नमेंट हमारी बहुत शॉर्ट विजन है, मतलब वो लॉन्ग टर्म में हायर मोर बिजनेसेस मोर टैक्स की जगह शॉर्ट टर्म में हायर रेट मोर टैक्स जनरेट करना चाहती है, जिससे हमारा बेसिकली इकोनॉमी को लॉस होगा?
Anmol, you are partially true. You are partially true. Basically, in every developing economy, this is going to be there. टैक्सेशन स्ट्रक्चर तो बहुत दूर है. हम रोज देखते हैं कि हमारे ही घर के सामने की सड़क, हमारे घर के सामने की रोड, कभी तो वो वाटर पाइपलाइन के लिए होती है, कभी वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के लिए होती है, कभी वो गैस पाइपलाइन के लिए हो रही है, कभी वो किसी और के लिए, कभी 5G के लिए, 4G के लिए, whatever. तो कभी कभी आपके मेरे दिमाग में आना चाहिए, यार क्यों नहीं एक साथ प्लान कर लेते हैं? सर एक साथ प्लान करने का फंड्स ही नहीं है, एक साथ इंप्लीमेंट करने के फंड्स ही नहीं, तो रिकवर करते जा रहे हैं, अप्लाई होते जा रहे हैं. एक एस्पेक्ट तो ये हुआ. बट हाँ, पार्शियली यू आर ट्रू ऑल्सो. Some provisions, some amendments are being brought in a haste, and they are being tested on us. Us means assessee at large, public at large, society at large, India and people at large. That should not be done. I agree, there can be pros and cons of each kind of change or each kind of amendment or each kind of modification per se, but still there should be at least a detailed study that what all sectors or what all society members can be harshly affected by this or not. Right? All such points should be considered. So definitely I buy your view, but to some extent, to limited extent.
Thank you, sir. This was the thing which I wanted to ask.
Anywhere else? आप लोगों को और भी कोई डाउट हो ना, इवन पढ़ते वक्त भी अगर आपको कोई डाउट आ जाए, या आपके ऑफिस में आप कुछ कर रहे हैं उसमें भी अगर आपको कोई डाउट आ जाए, तो यू कैन ऑलवेज गिव मी अ कॉल. Even if I am in a meeting, like today also while delivering the session, I received around 8 or 10 calls, which I definitely did not attend. Right? So I am going to give them a call back. वो तो होगा ही. देखिए, आप मुझे कभी भी आराम से बेझिझक के कॉल करें. दिस इज माय नंबर. कोई भी पॉइंट आपके ऑफिस में आ जाए, आपके पढ़ते वक्त आ जाए, बी इट एनी सब्जेक्ट ऑल्सो. एंड इवन इफ देयर कैन बी सम केसेस, जब कभी कभी ऐसे सिचुएशंस आते हैं, कोई सम डेज आर रियली हार्ड, कभी कभी हमें लगता है कि हम सही डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हैं, समथिंग ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट. राइट? सो ऑल ऑफ अस हैव गॉन थ्रू दिस फेज. यार अब क्या कोर्स कर रहे हैं, कैसे कर रहे हैं, कैसे होगा, आगे क्या होगा. देयर आर मेनी काइंड ऑफ एप्रीहेंशंस. कोई भी आप ऐसे, whenever you feel down, you can always give me a call.
सर जस्ट मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है सर.
जी.
लाइक हम जो मंडी ऑडिट्स करते हैं, तो एक जो दो चीजें हमें जो डाउटफुल रखती है वो एक हमाली है, एक वो जो आपका बोलते हैं कि हमाली एक्सपेंसेस, एंड एक होता है आप अड़े चार्ज करते हो. सर उसमें ये मुझे ये कंफ्यूजन है, जब उनका एक्चुअली मैंने कभी CV भरा नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे ये डाउट है कि जो कमीशन अमाउंट जो चार्ज होता है हम ऑफ दैट सेल, वो 3B में जाता है, या जो टोटल जो सेल वैल्यू होती है वो 3B में जाती है?
ठीक है. ओके फाइन. सी आइडियली इन केस ऑफ आड़त हम उसमें भी दो हिस्से कर लेते हैं. एक तो वो हैं जो एब्सोल्युटली कच्ची आड़त है ना, और जो कच्ची आड़त नहीं है. जो एब्सोल्युटली कच्ची आड़त है वो जीएसटी के परव्यू में नहीं है. अदरवाइज हमें आइडियली ओनली कमीशन को डालना चाहिए इन 3B.
ओके सर, थैंक
और
यू.
जहां तक अपन हमाली की बात करें, अगर वो केवल रिकवरी ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस है, और हमारे ओरिजिनल प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर, कमीशन के ऊपर अगर जीएसटी लग रहा है, देन जीएसटी एलिमेंट शुड बी लेविड ऑन दैट एस्पेक्ट.
थैंक यू सर. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to thank you for the just insightful session. I would also thank Hemant sir and Dhaval sir for conducting this session. And I also thank student coordinators who really help us to make this event flawless and amazing. I also thank the committee, the 18 branches who really help us to conduct this session in very flowful manner. And now I'm handing over the mic to Aman Srivastav for final deliberation. Aman Srivastav, over to you.
Thank you so much, Arvind. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It was indeed a magnanimous event which was hosted by Jodhpur branch of ICAI along with 18 other branches across India. It is not easy to arrange the process and to continue the journey, which was 4 days long. I would like to take time and I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the efforts of managing committee members and the CICASA committee of Jodhpur branch of ICAI. From members to technical teams, Engineer Mohibur Hemant sir and Akshay sir have supported us throughout these webinars to ensure that there must not be any technical glitches. I would also like to acknowledge the efforts of our speakers for 4 days. CA Mr. Akash Fupolia sir for the first day, CA Mr. Arpit Haldia sir for the second day, CA Mr. Vikas Golcha sir for the third day, and CA Mr. Ankit Somani sir for the final day of today. The All the eminent personalities, all the eminent speakers have articulated various sessions on GST, and I'm sure the way they have articulated had been an enhancement of knowledge for students. On behalf of Jodhpur branch of ICAI, I would also like to thank all our branches for their immense support throughout 4 days. From central regions, we had the support of Bhilwara, Pali, Sikar, Bikaner, Kishangarh, Agra, and Mathura. Whereas from the eastern region, we had Kolkata and Guwahati, Chennai and Hyderabad from southern region, and Satara, Surat, Pune, Navi Mumbai, and Nanded branch from the western regions. And how can we forget, ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honors, whose presence made us felt motivated. CA Mr. Anil Kumar Yadav sir, CA Manisha Biani ma'am, CA Mr. Akash Bargoti sir, and CA Mr. Kirti Joshi sir. Thank you for your gracious presence. I heartily thank all the branches and their committee members for their gracious presence in making this webinar a grand success. And a huge thank to all the participants who took their precious time and who took the active participation in this webinar. We hope to meet all of you very soon in another webinar with another imperative topics. Once again, on behalf of Jodhpur branch, I would like to thank all of you for being a part of this journey. Thank you, Ankit Somani sir, for deliberating this wonderful session of today. And I hope that your session has contributed in the lives of students in a very significant way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
All
much.
the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Aman. And once again, a very big thank you to CA Ankit sir for making us well versed with the amendments and imparting us the valuable lessons of GST. We're extremely fortunate to hear from you today, and I'm sure that all the participants today, they've taken home lots of understandings and knowledge, and this session has been of utmost benefit and advantage. So now I would like to ask CICASA Bhilwara branch chairman Alok sir to share a few words with us.
So please unmute your device, sir. No, no, sir. No, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, sir. Now perfect.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to convey my thanks to Ankit Somani sir. And the session was really great, and it's always learning experience hearing him on GST topic or any other topic. And I've been listening to him, I think, since last 2 or 3 years. It was an excellent session, and many congratulations to Jodhpur branch for organizing this event successfully. And the participants, I think, will be very, will be very happy to receive so much practical knowledge as well as the theoretical and technical knowledge from such eminent speakers. And I was expecting a lot of more participation, but these participation is which motivates us to keep going with the conducting these programs. And I think the number will be higher because of the quality of our speakers and the efforts taken by the Jodhpur branch. All the best, and all the best to all the students. I think all the speakers will be very happy to have more queries from the students, and this session will be successful only if we are able to give something, or we share some knowledge with the students. Okay, so that's all from my side. Thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to ask Hemant sir, CICASA chairman, to share a few words with us.
Thanks, Nidhi. GST drill, let's make GST easy. I am very thankful to my CICASA committee members who helped me in concluding this webinar, a successful webinar. I am also thankful to my all speakers for the 4 days, Akazi Fofolia, Alpit Haldia sir, Vikasji Golcha, Ankitji Somani sir, and all guests of honors. I'm also thankful to all the CICASA members of other branches of regions CIRC, NIRC, WIRC, and SIRC, and all the students for their attending for all the 4 days and making this webinar a great successful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to ask our Jodhpur branch chairman and the man behind this entire webinar, Dhaval sir, to please take over.
थैंक यू. हमने जीएसटी को अंकित किया है अपना समय अर्पित करते हुए. विकास की राह पे हम चल पड़े आकाश को छूने के लिए. ये चारों ही नाम इस जीएसटी ड्रिल को डेवलप करने के लिए या जीएसटी स्टूडेंट्स के मन में अंकित करने के लिए थे. आई एम रियली थैंकफुल टू ऑल द फैकल्टीज हु डिवोटेड देयर प्रीशियस टाइम to enrich and enhance the knowledge of GST. I'm also thankful to all the co-host branches for giving their time as well as resources. I'm also thankful to CICASA committee, our students who made this successful. I'm also thankful to our tech team, Akshay and Moibur to run this smoothly. I'm also thankful and more important, the participants who joined, and they motivated us that we'll come with one more event. Thank you. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. So on this, we can our webinar and the 4th day. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.
Bye.
Thank you, Ankit sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Congratulations for amazing sessions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.